Imagine a huge factory in China built to give jobs to 50,000 people, but today it's completely empty. Machines are off, lights are off, and people are gone. This isn't just one factory, this is happening across China. Big companies like Apple, Amazon, Nike, and many others are moving their business away from China. Why this is happening to China? Why big companies are leaving? And how can this change affect to India and rest of the world? These reasons may shock you. Stay till the end to uncover this saga. So let's understand how China became a world's factory. China has always been a manufacturing machine for the world. It offered cheap labor, huge land areas, and faster approvals for setting up new factories. This affected companies from all over the world. China produces clothes, phones, toys, shoes, almost everything. And why did companies love China? Workers were available in huge numbers at a very low costs. Infrastructures like roads, ports, electricity have been improving quickly in China since 1990s. The government supported exports with low taxes and simple rules. It's like opening a roadside food stall where government is giving you ingredients, free electricity, and hungry customers ready to buy. Who doesn't want to sell there? This model worked so well for China and it became world's factory floor. It produces for almost every major brand across the globe. So everything looks perfect, right? What went wrong? Over the last few years, the situation began to change. And now slowly, almost like someone pulled the emergency brakes. Aspect number 1, COVID-19 lockdowns. China followed a strict zero COVID policy. Entire cities were locked down, one person tested positive, whole apartment blocks were sealed. For example, in 2022, Foxconn's iPhone plant in Jingzhou saw massive mass worker protests due to lockdowns and poor conditions. Apple faced delays in delivering the iPhone 14 during its peak season. And the loss? Estimated at over 1 billion in sales. Huge, right? Factories couldn't function, goods couldn't move, global companies faced delay and customer complaints. Aspect 2. US-China trade war and high tariffs. Since 2018, the US added heavy taxes on Chinese goods. And the goal? To reduce dependency on China and protect American companies. For example, a toy made in China that cost Rs 500 now costs 600 in the US market after taxes. Retailers started asking, can we make this in Vietnam or India for less? 3. Rising costs and strict rules. China is no longer cheap. Wages have gone up from past few years. The government is tightening up its grip. New data and cybersecurity laws are scaring tech giants. Sudden bans and fines are common. Alibaba, Tencent and others have been penalized heavily. A country was once seen as open for business is now seen as risky for business. So, which companies are leaving China? This shift is not just talk. Big companies have already taken action. Let's take Apple. Started manufacturing iPhones in India with partners like Foxconn and Wistron. Apple plans to shift 25% of its entire production out of China by 2025. Nike. Cut down on Chinese manufacturing. Nearly 50% of its shoes are made in Vietnam and Indonesia now. Amazon sellers. Many private label brands have shifted to India and Mexico for packaging and manufacturing. And Samsung closed its last Chinese phone factory in 2019. Now has major production units in India and Vietnam. This movement is called China Plus One. Yes, it's China Plus One strategy. Companies don't want to depend entirely on China anymore. And what's the big impact? 300 million jobs at risk. China's manufacturing sector employs over 300 million people. If factory close or move out, even 10% job loss means 30 million people unemployed. And who are these people? Workers assemble your phones, drivers who transport goods, families running tea stalls outside factories. One closed factory affects not just workers but the entire local economy around it. From chai walas to electricians, everyone loses income. When China slows down, 1. Prices rise. Making things elsewhere can cost more. Shortages increase. Countries like smaller countries can't handle sudden big demand. 3. Global supply chain break. One delay in China can mean shelves are empty in New York or Mumbai. Here's a short example. When China stopped exporting fertilizers during COVID-19, India faced a shortage. farmers pay 20 to 30% more. So even small policy shift in China can affect fields in India. What's India's opportunity here? This is where India comes in. Young workforce. India has over 500 million people below the age of 35. They are ready to work and learn. B. Government push. Schemes like PLI, production linked incentive, offer financial rewards to companies for setting up units in India. Make in India is attracting brands like Samsung, Apple, and even Tesla. Example, Apple exported iPhones worth 5 billion from India in 2023. This number is expected to double soon. See, growing infrastructures. New highways, expressways, and ports are being built. Internet and digital payments are world class. India today is where China was in early 2000s, full of potential. And D. Political stability and democracy. Unlike China, where government decisions are sudden and harsh, India offers stability and legal protection. But wait, there are challenges too. Let's be honest, India has problems. Bureaucracy can be slow. Land acquisition is still difficult. Skill trainings need improvement. If India wants to fully replace China, it must do these three things. 1. Simplify rules. 2. Train workforce. 3. Speed up approvals. Do you know a big American brand once delayed their Indian factory for 2 years because they couldn't get power supply or environmental clearance in that time? So to conclude, the world is changing. For the first time in 40 years, China is losing its grip on global manufacturing. This is not small shift. This is like a fall of giant, and every country is ready to grab its place. India stands at the forefront of the line. If we play it smart, we can create millions of jobs, boost exports, and reduce our import dependencies. For common Indians, this means more job options, better wages, and a stronger economy. And who knows? One day people in US might be buying phones stamped with Made in India just like we did with Made in China for years. Hope the next decade is India's to win. Stay tuned for more business dramas and marketing sagas. Until then.